Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Get Off the Damn Fence. That's right, we're back for another week talking all the latest in sports and entertainment, and we're happy that you have joined us tonight. I'm Larry Caution, joined us by my co-host Calvin Thomas, Justin B.A. the Barber Harris. Gentlemen, how y'all doing tonight?
What's happening?
I'm glad to
Hey,
see you. Cooler heads have prevailed with you, my brother.
what happened?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was talking about Saturday.
Oh, what happened Saturday?
It was
we
hot.
we, we, we fill you in offline. I forgot
Oh,
nobody. You was right there. You saw it. You just didn't pay attention.
oh man, I'm gonna have to check that out. All right, but yeah, we thank you all for tuning in tonight. Another week talking all the latest. We got some good topics tonight. Got a good little lineup for you all. Talking some NFL. That's gonna be an NFL heavy show tonight. Touching a little bit on a couple free agency issues with basketball, and I'm talking a little bit pro wrestling as well. Baseball is just getting back into the groove of things. We might touch on that towards the end of the show, and then we got some boxing to catch up on as well. Little boxing happened over the weekend with Manny Pacquiao stepping back inside the square circle. We'll touch on that before the end of the night. But let's get started with the NFL. Each and every week, we have been doing our preview heading into the NFL season, where we go through each team from the worst to the best and preview where we think these teams will end up in the 2025 season. So far, we've done a great job running it down, and tonight we're going to start with a team that had high hopes a few years ago when they drafted young quarterback Anthony Richardson, and that's the Indianapolis Colts. Calvin, tell us about these Colts and what you're looking for in 2025.
Colts have undergone what can be said a change at the top with the passing of Jim Irsay over the offseason. So they do have a new owner, quote unquote. Was just I believe just his daughter, so she's running things now. Be interesting to see if they actually go through a sale upcoming as well, but that's just rumors and speculation. Going into this season, they did sign Daniel Jones, who you formerly of the New York Giants and the Minnesota Vikings after he got cut last year, and supposedly he's competing for that starting quarterback spot with Anthony Richardson. I don't know how much of a competition this is. We really have been waiting to see the maturation of Anthony Richardson over the last couple of years. There were high hopes coming out of Florida. I believe this is just out off of the Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts hype. He was compared to them way too early, expected to do what they did way too early, and just hasn't lived up to the hype. But you can make the argument that the team wasn't built around him to help him live up to that hype. So they bring in Daniel Jones, hopefully to push him and make him better. We'll see what happens here. Daniel Jones would only sign here if he thinks that he was in competition for that quarterback position. I don't think it's a competition. I think Anthony Richardson is the better quarterback, is the better athlete. But we'll see what happens this preseason and who starts week one. In my opinion, the biggest offseason loss is Ryan Kelly. Their starting center. They had one of the best lines in football the last 2 years. They had Jonathan Taylor in the backfield as well. Last year in 13 to 14 games at 1,400 yards. A couple years ago, he was just lighting up everything. Almost 1,700 yards, I believe. So you lose a center in Ryan Kelly. Now, granted, I believe he was old. He was 32, so he was kind of getting up there in age in football years. So you probably want to replace him with a younger, more athletic center, and especially a cheaper center. But you lose just that stalwart, that commander of that offensive line with a young quarterback. A quarterback that's just still trying to groom. You take away one of his biggest weapons, one of his biggest protectors, and then you got to see how can you compete with that. They did sign Travarius Ward from the San Francisco 49ers to improve that defense. But I still think if you have Anthony Richardson, you need to focus on offense. You need to get him better offensive line. You need to get him more weapons on offense. Get him a tight end as well. They were looking at Mark Andrews as well, supposedly during the offseason. You have Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, but how much more can you just give him the ball? He's gotten the rock over the last 2 years so many times. They're talking about trying to reduce his carries, hopefully keeping him fresh and going towards the end of the year. So what are the Indianapolis Colts doing? They just drafted a quarterback 2 years ago. You're not rebuilding. You have to build with your starting quarterback and Anthony Richardson. I don't know if bringing Daniel Jones in is the right move. If you build around Anthony Richardson, if you give him a plan, if you solidify a mold the offense around what he does best, that's what you do. You don't try to push him with another quarterback, a failed first round quarterback from another organization that booted him to the side for Russell Wilson that's 3 or 4 years past his prime. And with Jonathan Taylor, can he bounce back? He's had injuries over the last couple of years. Now, injuries don't mean he sleeps more than in production. He still had 1,400 yards last year, but it was just in 14 games. Can he remain healthy? Do you have to limit his carries to kind of get him throughout the regular season? Can you make a in the AFC South? Can you be the second best team in the AFC South? I think most people believe there are 5 solidified playoff spots in the AFC. At least 2 remaining. Can you be one of those 2 teams? I'm not saying you have a better offense than the Bengals, but you have a better defense than the Bengals. You probably have a better running game than the Bengals as well. Can you get past a team like that to get to the playoffs, to even get a wild card spot and kind of start to build back up this franchise with Andy Richardson as your quarterback? Those are some Colts got to answer.
A lot of good questions. We'll see about the answers. That division still isn't the greatest, but you looking up the Houston Texans. They had some turnover with injuries as well. The defense looks to be better this year with the Colts. I think a great point you make is about the healthiness of Jonathan Taylor. We've seen when he's on his game, he's getting a fair share of his carries. He's able to play at a high level. So the question will be, how long will be healthy? What will be the usage rate? They did go out and get a Khalil Herbert to be his backup. After they so that gives you a little 1-2 punch. We saw what he was able to do in Chicago as a switchblade, little gadget back. So that'll help Jonathan Taylor with some spell him here and there. But Tre'Davious Ward helping that secondary, I think that's big. But overall, I still need to see what they're gonna get out of their linebackers. We know they lost one of the best linebackers the game had for years. Once he changed his name, it's like his play just dropped off and he could never get his health back. So they still lack some of that firepower on the defensive side of the football. But yeah, the young quarterback, will he be the star that people thought he was flashing to be early in his career? Justin, your thoughts on the Colts?
I'm gonna answer that question. No. So that's the number one thing is you can go every position. Every position is great. Everywhere you want to go. Here you want to go there. Defense, cool. Everything else, cool. That starting quarterback position. If you have quarterback controversy, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. So they need to go ahead on and go just say whoever's going to be the starter. Now we are at the very beginning of preseason. We have the training camp just started, so we're going to see who takes the reign, but Anthony ain't looking good so far on day one. I'll say that. I heard some negative reports coming out of training camp. So it was his to lose. And I think Daniel Jones will probably beat him out. And if he does, I don't know what that does to Anthony Richardson. I don't know how their franchise, I don't know how their coaching staff, I don't know how they will coddle that if they do. This is not like the Carolina Panthers. They're not just going to go ahead on and sit him down and let him come back. I mean,
they already done that.
And
they already done that. This is
right. So this ain't looking good. This ain't looking good. So they spent a very high draft pick on him, but looks like they're going to be looking for another quarterback soon.
Yeah. All right, Calvin. We don't have slides this week. But tell us a little bit about Mount Rushmore for the Indianapolis Colts. Looking at the history of this team, if you had to name 4 best players in Colts history, and we know the Colts here in Baltimore dates back to the early days of the Baltimore Colts. They moved to Indianapolis in the middle of the night, like thieves in the night on the Mayflower. So we know it's a long lineage. So some of these players might be back from the day. So who's your top 4?
I have no players from back in the day. I'm not even going to stretch that. If they were the Baltimore Colts,
have none.
I'm separating the history with the Baltimore Colts. That's Baltimore's team. That's not. We're not. I'm including them with the Ravens. I'll tell you that right now. That's how I'm gonna do that.
Okay, that's your choice. Go ahead.
Easily, I think this is fairly easy, in my opinion. Peyton Manning to start. I don't see how you can start anywhere else besides Peyton Manning with that franchise. Brought them their first Super Bowl in over 40 years at that point. Marvin Harrison, the greatest receiver in Colts history. 1-2 punch synonymous with Peyton Manning. Just that chemistry on the field, arguably the best wide receiver quarterback combination, maybe outside of Brady and Manning, but they did it longer. I'm gonna go Dwight Freeney, who I think is the best defender in Colts history, patented that spin move, created that for a smaller defensive lineman. He was able to get around offensive linemen with that spin move, created with a lot of strip sacks, Hall of Famer easily. This last spot was difficult in my opinion because I wanted to go Edgerrin James. I thought he was maybe the best running back, but then he didn't win the Super Bowl. That was passed off to Joseph Addai. Then you also had Marshall Faulk as well, who started his career in Indianapolis and later probably became more popular in St. Louis with the great show on turf. You also had Adam Vinatieri, who played a short career, but we already had him in New England. So I ended up going back and forth between the two running backs, and I just thought that what this running back did in a limited time, and this could change with Jonathan Taylor, with a limited time in this uniform, I'm going Marshall Faulk. Those are my four.
This might be the most blasphemous list we've had thus far. This got to be the like what? First of all, Justin, let me go.
Those are my four. You got two of the four.
If you can talk about the Colts, that blue and white, and not bring up the name Johnny Unitas, like
that's perfectly fine. But it's Johnny Unitas synonymous with the Indianapolis Colts or the Baltimore Colts?
They the Colts. We talked about this with every team we talked about.
He's a part of Baltimore history. He's not a part of Indianapolis history. That's
like saying the Las Vegas Raiders are not Vegas. They Oakland or they LA or like teams move. It happens.
It's how they move. That's putting a bad taste in my mouth. I wasn't even alive back then, but just how people talk about it, I skip past that history.
Anyway, Johnny U is number 1 on this list. Peyton Manning is number 2. Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. That's my list. I'm sticking with it. Justin, who you got?
I will take out Reggie and I will put in Dwight for me. But for sure, Colts. However you want to say what city, he is a Colt through and through. That ridiculously plain white uniform with the navy blue stripe.
Hey, check your cords. Your mic is breaking up a little bit. Calvin, you hearing that?
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Who was the best running back in Colts history?
Joseph Addai.
Edgerrin James.
Not anymore, since we're talking about going back in the day.
I didn't see him play. I'm sure he was
great.
Did
you see John Unitas play?
I've seen him way more highlights. I've heard the stories.
You saw highlights. You didn't see him play.
I read.
Okay.
Lenny Moore was great too. I'm not saying he wasn't, but I mean, if I'm being honest, like a full-fledged Colt running back, like Edgerrin James wasn't there long enough for me to be like, yeah,
he was. That was there even short time period. He won.
I would say Edgerrin.
Won a Super Bowl.
I say Edgerrin over Marshall Faulk.
Yeah, especially when he made his name getting the MVP in St. Louis. Like he is around.
At least Edgerrin James was a 2-time rushing champion in Indy. Like Joseph Addai was a champion, though. That's the only reason why I was like, he was a key to that championship run when they beat the Bears that year. Like that whole playoff run, Peyton wasn't even the best player on the field.
He was only there, how long was he productive? 2-3 years? I mean, I don't even remember.
Lucky, I was about to put Bob Sanders in mine.
Bob was great. I mean, Dwight is great. But Reggie, I think people sleeping on Reggie Wayne. Reggie Wayne was way uber productive after Marvin Harrison became a possession receiver. Reggie was carrying that offense. Are you kidding me? Like Reggie was that guy.
Overshadowed.
Yeah, a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Overshadowed.
It was too many weapons. Peyton made too many weapons. Now, if you want to say, because I think Reggie Wayne played with Andrew Luck his first couple years.
But that had nothing to do with
No, but my point is, if you're saying that he had a longer prime than Marvin Harrison, because once Marvin Harrison was done, it was kind of like he just went away. But when he was great, he was top tier, triple threat great in the prime of his career.
I'm not taking nothing away from Marvin Harrison. You on my list. I'm just saying Reggie Wayne was tremendous. Like let's not sleep on him now. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, so that's an interesting list. Justin, I thought yours was pretty good. Calvin, I thought yours was terrible and probably the worst list we've had thus far.
Straight garbage.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Because I didn't have Johnny U on there.
Pathetic. Tell us about the Arizona Cardinals, Justin.
Didn't get all the slide, but here we go. Arizona Cardinals, the biggest offseason loss, Patrick Peterson. They lost a couple of their defensive line, and what they did was they tried to make up for it in this particular offseason. They added Josh Sweat from the Philadelphia Eagles amongst their star-studded defensive line that won them a championship. Also, they added Calais Campbell and Dalvin Tomlinson from the defensive line. So they're definitely their goal in the offseason was to work on their defense because their defense was the worst part about the Arizona Cardinals, one of the worst in the league. So their offense is probably they're about top 15 the way it is right now. And they needed their defense to catch up with them. So now, with that being said, we have questions on offense as well as defense. Mainly, can Kyler Murray become an elite 3-tier quarterback? What I mean by that is, can you throw the ball in the clean? Can you throw the ball being pressured? Can you throw the ball being blitzed? Those last two, I'm still having issues. Okay, those last two he has issues with. So that's probably the worst thing that they're going to have. And Marvin Harrison Jr. take that second year jump to being a premier wide receiver. Right now, he's third when it comes to the big two. When it comes to the big receivers, big rookie receivers, Malik Nabers and BTJ out of Jacksonville, Brian Thomas Jr. So he has to get his name back to where he should be. He added some weight, he added some muscle to the season. So hopefully that helps him out. Him and Kyle need to get on the same page. Hopefully that helps out. Defensively, they added Ricky Will Johnson, if I'm not mistaken, the cornerback. I think that's his name. They just wanted to double down on the losses and to try to get better on defense. And if that does happen, that is a big if. We don't know if that's going to happen or not because we want to see what happens as the season play out. But can they do that? Can the defense catch up? And if they can, then they will take their spot number 2 in their division. Let's see if they can get to it.
Calvin, your thoughts on the Cardinals in their offseason? Their outlook for the new season coming?
They did improve their defense, in my opinion, but it all comes back to Kyler Murray. We talked about San Francisco a couple weeks ago and how they play basically a soft schedule. Arizona plays in the same division and has a similar soft schedule as well. So I think this is the year for Arizona to take the lead. They've got to be the second best team in that division. That's a tall order when you're saying they have to be better than San Francisco when you don't have as many weapons. But while San Francisco's down and they're injured, they have to take that elite, and Kyler Murray has to take that elite. It's beyond time for him. We've seen flash in the pan. We've seen this team start off hot and end on a whimper. So these teams really have to stay hot. They added some veteran leadership in Calais Campbell, who went back to Arizona where he started. They added the defensive end Josh Sweat, as just mentioned. But offensively, they have to gotta get Kyler Murray involved. They've got to get Marvin Harrison Jr. involved. He was the best wide receiver in last year's draft, but he wasn't playing like the last year. Was it the offense and was that Kyler Murray? Was it a combination of the two? They have to take a big leap, in my opinion. If they are to become, or Kyler Murray to become what they hope that he becomes, it starts this year in a sort of down NFC West, where you've got Seattle has a new quarterback, San Francisco is injured. I think the Rams are the class of the division, but there's no reason that Arizona shouldn't be second and fighting for a wild card playoff spot.
You know, Kyler Murray is probably one of the more frustrating players to analyze and cover in this league because the guy has so much talent. Like, if you look at him and you watch his body of work, especially in the NFL since he's come in, he'll have a game where he just puts on a performance where he can do things that very few quarterbacks can do in the league. He has elite speed. He's elusivity. He can throw the ball very well at times and actually make big time plays. And then there's other times where it just looks like he's running in quicksand. And it's like his feet move so fast where how does he get sacked? Like, it's just so many. He's probably one of the more head scratching players to watch and cover in this league. And this team is all well and good. We talk about the defense. We talk about all that. We talk about the playmakers. If Kyler Murray plays to his potential and plays to some of what we saw early in his career and can stay healthy, the sky's the limit for this offense, man. They have what it takes. I'm not overly impressed with their running game. I'm not overly impressed with like many of the auxiliary pieces they have, whatever. But if the quarterback, and we say this about guys like Josh Allen, guys like Lamar Jackson, they are force multipliers. They're the guys you can put the team on their back, and they can cover up deficiencies and take you to another level just off of their talent alone. And I know because Kyler's stature is so small, you don't look at him in the same way of like Josh Allen. They would take that beating. But just his speed and playmaking ability, if he's able to put it together, this team could really shock some people this season. Very interested in some of the moves they made in the offseason and see how they pan out. So
I forgot they probably have a top 6 tight end as well, McBride.
Very good point. And I like the defense. Like you say, some of the moves they made, they weren't terrible last year. And they had, I think they had some good upsets on the schedule. It comes down to quarterback play. I really believe that, Justin.
Yeah, so Kyler was probably one of the worst when it came to blitzing. When I looked up some of the stats and while I was doing it. So it's when he gets pressured, when he can't see. That's pretty much what it is because he's unfortunately he's undersized. That's not even a shot. Like when they blitz in and he can't see, so he has to make something happen. That's when his percentage drops. So if he has a clean pocket when there's no, he can go right over the top with the best of them. He can have all those highlights then. So that's the problem. Can they keep him clean and can he move around enough whereas though he doesn't feel as pressured as he normally gets? So that's a tall order. No pun intended. But let's see if we can do it.
Yeah. So when analyzing this team and their Mount Rushmore is very interesting. I went back when I was doing my list for them, and I think there are a couple locks, but I think our list might vary here. That's why I was like, I'm not putting together no names. I said because this might be all over the place. So Justin, who are the 4 names you came down to for the Mount Rushmore of the Arizona Cardinals?
Of course, unanimous Larry Fitzgerald. That's number 1. After that, it gets shaky. Their best quarterback is Kurt Warner, and he took them to the Super Bowl. Is he on the list? I don't know.
That's a good question.
I might want to hold them for the Rams. I would think just freelancing that, but no, he's not on mine. To me, it's cornerback Cornelius Williams. I want to show some love to that. He is one of the best cornerbacks, not named Deion Sanders, for a very long time. And then after that, so that's 2. I want to put Adrian Wilson, safety. I think he was one of their best defensive pieces for the last some odd years, and then he retired. So the last one, I'm not going to give it. I'm not going to give it to Bolden. I'm not going to. Hell with Kurt Warner. There you go. Those are 4. I'm putting Kurt on the list.
Yeah, that's interesting. Calvin, who's your list?
Look, you hesitated too long. I had Kurt Warner on my list second. That was easy to put on there. I got Fitzgerald.
That was the second stint. That was the only problem. Second stint.
He led them to a Super Bowl. I think he led them to the NFC Conference Championship game, or maybe it was Division Championship. But he had out of his 4 seasons there, they made the playoffs in 3. They made a Super Bowl. They could have won the Super Bowl. That was a pretty good Super Bowl to think back. That they won. Pittsburgh won on a late touchdown pass to Santonio Holmes, I believe. So I give credit and to do that with a team that had no history of winning before that. Like that says a lot as well, in my opinion. So I got Fitzgerald. I got Kurt Warner. The Aeneas Williams, I thought about it. I mean, I know he got traded to the Rams late in his career. I think that was after they won the Super Bowl as well.
It's been about 10 years, not 10 years with them.
Yeah, he was with 10 years with the Cardinals.
Yeah. And I thought about it, and I'm like, he had that. He was more. He was on a bigger stage in St. Louis, but he was a Cardinal great. So I give it to Aeneas Williams as well. And my last spot, I was debating between Patrick Peterson, who I believe was probably that second best corner. I'm gonna give it to Calais Campbell. He was a stalwart on that defensive line, kind of right after that Kurt Warner stage when they had Carlson Palmer, and they were still competing for divisions and winning and competing for playoff wins as well. So I'm gonna give it to Calais Campbell as well. He played about 8-9 years there, and he kind of bounced around after that with Jacksonville, with Baltimore, so on and so forth. But I'm gonna give, just because of his tenure there, I'm gonna give it to him over people who had better numbers in a shorter period of time, like a Chandler Jones, even a Darnell Dockett. So those are my four.
You know, I think
This franchise is terrible.
The problem with a team like the Cardinals is they had guys that were there for a little while and then they were gone. So you can name many people. So I think for me, two locks for sure are Larry Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald, and Anquan Bolden. I think as two receivers, I don't see how you cannot have Bolden on your Mount Rushmore he was a monster. He was, like, call it what it is. Yeah, he won with the Ravens later, but many of us thought they should have got Bolden 2 years earlier. We'd have got 2 years earlier, we'd have had more than one Super Bowl. That was a legitimate concern back then. But then I get the Kurt Warner point, but I think this is where you really got to dig in a little deeper and look at their history of that team. And when we talk about some of these other teams, linemen matter. I think that matters for a team like this as well. And you can't.
Dan Dierdorf on there.
You gotta have Larry Wilson on the team. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. What do you mean? It just doesn't matter. He was a great player. I'm just giving you an example of players that.
In case for linemen.
I'll get to about linemen.
No. I'm going. Dan Dierdorf was my last pick, but I'm just saying, like, you gotta give credit to those players who might not have the acclaim and the long term flashy names, but for those individual franchises, those fans in that city, they probably think of them like we think of a Jonathan Ogden. We think of like a not Raw Wilson, a safety doesn't get the acclaim that all the other safeties would. But yeah, you gotta go Larry Wilson. I'm gonna go Dan Dierdorf with my final pick. It's not the sexy list, and Kurt Warner. I'm always thinking of him as a Ram. That's just the way it is. Go ahead.
He can be on both.
The only person I got stuck on really was Rod Tidwell. I really was about to throw him in on this wide receiver, but I had to choose no to.
No, definitely. Go ahead.
I don't say you can put the third best wide receiver on there.
Who?
I mean,
who's the second
best?
You
know who Rod Tidwell is?
Who's the second best? Bolden and Fitzgerald.
Yeah, they on mine.
I'm talking about the franchise history. That's what I'm talking about.
Do y'all know who Rod Tidwell is?
Remember the replacements?
No.
Who?
Cuba Gooding Jr. Show me
the money. You desecrated this franchise to that extent.
We playing along like yeah,
like
sure.
Never heard that name.
Great player.
I'm sorry.
I knew it was a movie. That's why I say the replacements. And fix your mics again. You messing up. But let me get into these Atlanta Falcons. Very interesting team. You all know I'm a big Kirk Cousins fan. Last year was disappointing. He started off a little slow, and then he got hot. Like early part of this mid-season, Kirk was on a roll. I mean, he was beating teams left and right, comebacks, throwing the ball well, but he faltered down the stretch. Mind you, coming off an injury, he was deceived. He was tricked. They pulled the plug on him, and they put the rookie Michael Penix Jr. in at quarterback, and then they never looking back. Kirk sitting on the bench, not happy, but we'll see because we know what happens sometimes. Young quarterback gets in there, he starts to struggle. You got a veteran with a fastball on the bench who's going to be sitting, resting, getting healthier, being ready to play now. We'll see if Penix Jr. is able to play up to the level that people expect him to play at. And with expectation comes a lot of pressure. If he starts to get shaky, they will pull the plug on him and put Kirk Cousins back in the game, especially since they're paying him all this money. Question is, will they trade Kirk Cousins? Will there be a team that wants to make a move for Kirk if an injury happens? Things happen in training camp every year. So we'll keep our eye on that. But I'm looking to see, will Michael Penix Jr. be able to put his imprint on his team, his mobility, his arm strength. He's got lightning quick speed with the football, throwing the ball. We saw that in college. And he has weapons that people still waiting for take. How many times can we bring up, the tight end? How many times can we bring up, we waiting for Pitts to step up and be that guy? We haven't seen it. So maybe Penix will be able to. We know how young quarterbacks love a good tight end. We'll see if that works out for them. They have weapons. It's not like they don't have receivers. They have running backs, 2 of them, in fact. So this team is they lost Grady Jarrett, who's been there a long time, but they went out and got a Leonard Floyd, who has proven himself to be a hell of a defensive addition. We'll see if the defense is able to take that next step in that NFC South. We know they're going to get a Saints team that's not all that great. Carolina team is not all that great. The only team they had to worry about is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They know they beat them twice last year, so that gives them it's not like they hit the mid bag of shells. You know what I mean? So, but that was Kirk Cousins. This is Michael Penix Jr. We'll see when they catch him. Do they catch him early in the season? I haven't looked at the schedule. Or when will these 2 teams face off? That will determine that division, how this quarterback is able to play against that Bucs defense. But I'm very interested. I'm very interested, given the fact that you don't make a move like this, moving on to the future, unless you think, especially when you got a roster like the Falcons have, where they look like they're ready to try to compete. Do you stick with the veteran and a Kirk Cousins, or do you move on to the young quarterback? We've seen that work out in Houston. We've seen that work out in Washington. So maybe they just saying, hey, go roll the dice, go get it done, and we'll see how it goes. But they have the weapons. They have the players, and they should be able to compete in that NFC South. Calvin, your thoughts?
I agree with you. The question is, in my opinion, is Michael Penix the one that can unlock this offense? Is he the one that could improve the game of Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson? Now, we've all thought that they've had a phenomenal offense. They've had a young, what could be one of the best offenses in the league. They just never been able to unlock those players. It's always been just Drake London, who was a phenomenal receiver, young phenomenal receiver, but you never get what you expect out of Kyle Pitts. You have a Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, but it's always why they splitting carries when Bijan Robinson should be the breadwinner and get the bulk of the carry. So can Michael Penix Jr. be the person that unlocks this offense, or is it just a coaching issue and they need to just go back and try to figure out another coach, get an offensive coach? So in my opinion, that's what it is. They have the ability to compete in this division. Tampa they're going to be the number 1 rival, but in order to get to the playoffs, they probably got to be out 2 of those NFC North teams. So it may be division winner or bust for anyone in the NFC South. It's just, can they unlock this offense? And we expect so much from this offense each and every year, and then we look up, it's Bijan Robinson with 10 carries, and it's Kyle Pitts with 3 catches. And it's been like that for 3 or 4 weeks. We're just wondering what's going on down there in Atlanta. You're in a dome. You play in a fast pace. You have great weather seasons. You play on the road in the division. What is wrong with this offense year after year after year? Maybe Michael Penix Jr. can unlock this offense.
What's your thoughts, Justin?
Does that worry?
About to be second in the division. They are better than Carolina. They are better than the Saints. They're not better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, unfortunately. So they do have to win the division in order to get into the playoffs. I truly believe that. So it's the defense, really. If you look at this team, offense is fine. The offense is really, really fine. Kyle Pitts is who Kyle Pitts is going to be. But Bijan started to turn on towards the end of the season. Like, Bijan wasn't the problem for the team. It's the defense, and it always will be the defense. So they need to double down on the defense and see if they can get that rolling, whereas though Michael Penix can actually get a lead, maintain a lead, and not have too much to worry about, and just give the ball to Bijan. That's their key to victory. But when you keep letting teams come back in towards the fourth quarter and things like that, you get what you get.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to watch that. Let's look at their Mount Rushmore. And to me, this is kind of cut and dry. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't have a struggle with this. I think it's cut and dry. I think Michael Vick is on Mount Rushmore of the Atlanta Falcons. I think he put, in many ways, look, when I remember when the Falcons, I think that was what 2000, 99, Dirty Bird. Remember Dirty Bird Falcons with work done, and I mean, oh no. It was it Jason Allen, Jamal Anderson. And them boys, they was a different type of team. Do I put Jamal Anderson on my Mount Rushmore of the Falcons? No, I'm sorry. Great player. But Michael Vick,
2 good years.
I think Michael Vick belongs on there. I think Matt Ryan belongs on there. Matt Ryan was a great quarterback for this team for a long time, and he's won a lot of games, threw for a lot of yards, and he should have won the Super Bowl. Let's call it what it is. They up 28-3. Like, call it what it is, man. The defense let them down. The coaching let them down. You up 28-3, you gotta put that game is over.
They got conservative on offense too.
You up 28-3, you gotta win the game.
But you should get a first down whenever you need to at that point, though.
I give you that. Julio Jones is on my Mount Rushmore for the Atlanta Falcons. That's 3. I think Julio, one of the greatest receivers, and it was a short career. Don't get me wrong. I thought he could have been greater. I mean, it wasn't that long. I mean, as far as like, I think a lot of years was kind of like wasted in a way. Let's see, how long did Julio play? 9 years?
No, I thought he just played for Philadelphia 2 years ago.
I'm not counting that.
He was in Atlanta.
He was for 13 years. He was in the league.
He was in Atlanta until like 2020, 2021, 9-10 years.
I give Julio
on 11.
The question is, when you think of Deion Sanders, he was a Falcon, man. He was a Falcon. He was a hired gun for the Cowboys and the 49ers for a year. How long he was with the Cowboys? 1 year or 2?
He was with the Cowboys 4 or 5. 4.
94 to 95?
No, he wasn't. He was in San Francisco.
Yeah, 95, 96.
99, 5, 96, and I believe to 2000 because he was with Washington in 01.
He went to Washington, and then he came to Baltimore.
But he retired for like, 2 years before that? Because when he came back, he was retired.
Yeah, he came out of retirement.
Yeah.
I remember he went to Washington.
Yeah. So I think he was in Washington like 2 or 3 years.
So the question would be, do you consider Deion a Falcon or a Cowboy? Will he be on your Cowboy all-time list? And for me, I just think of him as a Falcon when he was playing baseball and playing football. He was a Falcon. He was the best at it when he was doing that. So for me, he goes on Mount Rushmore. So that's my 4. I go Vic, Julio, Matt Ryan, and Deion Sanders as my 4. Who you got?
Of course, I have Michael Vick. He didn't win in Atlanta, but just the energy, he was synonymous with just playmaking and just that you never know what to expect. He was the prototypical first athletic running quarterback. So you gotta give it to Mike Vick. I think Matt Ryan is the best quarterback in Falcons history. I take him there. Like you say, he should have won that. He should have won that Super Bowl, won the MVP that year. 28-3 in a dome. You gotta close that out. I don't care who's on the other side. When you need that first down, you gotta get a first down, regardless of what the defense gave up in the last quarter and a half. It was 23 in the middle of the third quarter, I believe, if I remember correctly. So, but the offense, you got to get a first down when you need to. When you needed to, you should have got a first down. Julio Jones was the best receiver in the league for a 2 or 3 year period. I mean, some run was about Antonio Brown. There was AJ Green. Julio just didn't have the touchdown numbers. Julio would have 1,800 yards and 5 touchdowns. You just kind of figure out, how is it possible for you to have this amount of catches, 1,800 yards, but you only got 5 touchdowns? And it was over like a 3 year period, just putting up those numbers with no touchdowns. But Julio Jones, just with the size, and his speed. Like whenever he caught a pass, and you see him just outrunning, 5'10" guys. He was crazy athletic.
He was that first receiver. I felt like bigger than T.O., bigger than, you know what I mean? Like just big and fast. Like
I might put, I don't know if Calvin Johnson was fast, but yeah, definitely Julio.
Calvin and Julio to me are in the same, like the realm to me. Like
and
Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones. Yeah.
There was a pass in the playoffs. We like caught it at the 40, and it was like straight line speed and just outran everyone. It was like no moves. It was just running down the field. So Julio was just like a beast of receiver. And I'm going with Dion too. I didn't think you were going to have Dion. I didn't think you were going to have Dion. I thought you were going to think of Dion as.
So who the list?
Matt
we
Ryan.
Got the same list. Matt
Michael
Ryan,
Vick, Julio, and
Dion.
Dion. I thought you were going to think of Dion more of a cowboy. If you had him as a 49er, just that 1 year as a 49er,
it was great in 1 year.
Great. So
yeah,
but in his prime,
his
prime, cornerback and kickoff punt returner. In addition, just playing baseball for the Braves.
Playing baseball.
It just in that
catching helicopters from one thing to another.
Yeah, in the playoffs, playing in the playoffs, MLB playoffs, and then going to play a game in the Georgia Dome. So I got Dion as well. Now, I'll say this. This won't be the only time you hear Dion's name come out. Talk about
out of all the Cowboys, you gonna play him?
Wait. You may hear him twice.
James.
That's all I'm saying.
But yeah, like I said, I had a close. Like I said, I was thinking about if I didn't put Dion, it would have been Jamal Anderson or maybe.
I was thinking Roddy White for Jamal Anderson.
Roddy White was great too.
Jamal Anderson's prime was like it was that Super Bowl year and the year before, and that was.
He was there for a long enough period of time where
he was there for 8 years, but that was it. Like I thought about him. I thought about Warwick Dunn, but
I was thinking about Algie Crumpler. You know what I mean? Like he was that was Vic's guy. That's what Vic was throwing to all the time. But yeah, and that triple option and stuff like that. But who's your list, Justin?
Same
list. Yeah, that's the list. I think, like I say, I felt like the Falcons list was pretty straightforward.
No defense.
Nah, they ain't never had no like
Dion.
Time.
Look, you know, I thought
Dion. Yeah,
I thought about for 1 second. I forgot Dion. I thought about for
Andre
1 second. No, Michael Turner. When he came from San Diego to Atlanta, and he was #1 guy, and nobody that like 3-4 year period where he was just putting up numbers, 40, 50, 100 yards.
Yeah. All right, cool. So that's our Mount Rushmore for this week. We'll be back next week to continue our countdown, the greatest, of every NFL team, and we've been going in order. It's been pretty fun, and we'll be like training camp started this week, so a lot going on. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, announced his retirement on the first day of training camp for the New Orleans Saints. I guess he looked around the locker room and said, "Yeah, this ain't worth it. I'm out of here." He's done. Honey Badger. It felt like his career wasn't that long to me, but he was impactful for while he was around. Went to LSU. So he went back to Louisiana to retire. Good on him. He was one of those higher gun type players. He was out there in Arizona. He was in Kansas City, won a title there. He was impactful. Houston, right? He was in Houston. Where else was he at? I think
that was it. He played 14. Arizona, New Orleans, Houston.
And he won a title with Kansas City. Great player, impactful.
He won 2, right?
I think he was there for 2. Justin, what's your thoughts on Honey Badger?
Just one of those guys that made plays, man. He was the prototypical playmaker.
And by the way, your audio sounds fantastic.
You know, I had YouTube playing in the background. I didn't notice until I logged back in. But no, just the stereotypical safety playmaker. And he embodied that. And you just gotta, give hats off to him, man. He had a hell of a career. A couple Pro Bowls in there. I don't want to say his nickname was probably bigger than his real name. Honey Badger did take him pretty far, but no, he was just he was definitely a phenomenal player. Shout out to him.
Calvin, your thoughts?
I agree. From the days of LSU, the legend of the Honey Badger, one of the best safeties, top 5, top 10 safeties at that time. I didn't realize he was like a 3-time All-Pro, first team All-Pro. So I'm trying to think, like, is he a Hall of Famer? But I'm like, if I gotta think too hard, then he's not. But a hell of a career for the Honey Badger. Because I'm trying to think, he won twice, right? Because Kansas City won in 19.
Yeah.
And
But
then
the thing about the
didn't they
Hall
win
of
in
Fame
21?
is it's not like they put you in by position. They only put
Yeah, it's
in
powerful.
it's just a class. You know what I mean? And that might be a question for another day. Should it be a position by position Hall of Fame, or should it just be are you worthy of being in the Hall? Period.
But even still, like from the time he came out in 2013 to now, how many great safeties played or his career overlapped with them? I mean, he's Ed Reed was past his prime at that point. I think it was he might have been retired at that point because he retired the next year. Malu. So
But
are there
that's the
really a lot of
problem.
great safeties?
You don't really you're not getting compared to other safeties. You're getting compared to wide receivers. You know, you're getting compared to how many people are they going to put in this year. Period. You know what I mean? Like I think Champ Bailey is a slam dunk.
He's a lot.
You know what I mean? People like that. You don't ever got to think about it. But Honey Badger, I don't know.
I got to think about it. That's the problem.
Got to think about it. So yeah. But shout out to him. Great career.
I want to see if you have him on here.
No, I don't. Who else retired?
Phillip Rivers officially retired.
He ain't played in 2 years.
No,
Phillip Rivers retired.
He officially came out this like a day or two ago and said,
"Yeah, he retired with the Chargers."
Okay.
So
congratulations to him.
He's one of those. It's the arguments like, is he a Hall of Famer? Then you compare stats. He's top 6 in multiple passing statistics. So is he the 6th best quarterback? Absolutely not. I don't think he is, but you're gonna hear that talk. You're gonna hear that talk in a few years.
But here's the question: Eli was controversial, and he got 2. Is Rivers better than Eli? I think so. Yes. I think so. On the field, Phillip Rivers was a better quarterback than Eli Manning, but he don't have the hardware.
In the playoffs, Eli Manning is a better quarterback than Phillip Rivers.
Joe Flacco is a better quarterback than both of them.
The problem with Rivers is it's 4 quarterbacks during his or 5 quarterbacks during his time that were better than him, or did most people say were better than him? Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, Peyton, Brady,
Rodgers,
Eli, Rodgers. So like you can't be the 7th best quarterback during your time. So
yeah,
and a couple of times, the one time he had a chance, LT gets hurt.
He got hurt.
He gets hurt, and then you go to New England. You upset.
Oh yeah.
Go to New England, and he's hurt. He's standing on the sideline with his coat on, with his helmet on that game. So
at least he's no Jay Cutler. You know what I mean? Like it could be worse. It could be worse. Let's talk about these contract disputes. So we know the training camp opened up, and we got some holdouts. We got some guys who are angry but still showed up. Some guys who are disappointed but still showed up. Let's start with Micah Parsons. So Micah showed up to training camp, but he was talking to the media. Not happy that the deal hasn't been reached yet. Given the fact that we've seen some pretty big deals come down the pike, some guys have been getting paid. At what point does Jerry say the price is only going up? Like, do I sign him now and try to get in before this thing keeps ballooning up? I know Jerry made a comment about, well, I paid a guy not that long ago, and he got hurt and never really played at that level for me. Talking about Dak and regretting it kind of.
Talking about Diggs.
I thought he was talking about Dak.
No, he made a separate comment about Dak.
Okay, so it's going to be really interesting. Does he get this deal done now? Does he wait? Your thoughts, Calvin, our resident Cowboy fan.
Jerry has never been the type of person to sign, give someone a contract, in advance. It's always been a day late, $1 short. Think about when he signed Dak. He had to do it 2 days before the season started. Same thing with Diggs. Same thing with the Zeke a couple years ago. Signed him when he was in Cabo after a week.
CD.
Jerry and CD. Jerry always waits till the last minute, and the price has gone up. You could have signed Micah over the summer before Myles Garrett, before Max Crosby, before TJ Watt raised the price. So now the price is what, $41 or $42 million when 3 months ago was $35, $36 million. So the price only goes up. And Jerry's always a day late and $1 short, and he wants a discount. He wants you to do it on his terms. And when you have this new generation of players that are not owner friendly, they aren't like Michael Irvin was, like Troy Aikman was. They weren't those friendly types where I'll be buddy with you, and I'll play your game. They're just outspoken. They want their money on their terms. Nothing stopping Micah Parsons from just playing through the season and going to free agency next year. Well, he'll get franchise tag, but he can really decide to screw up the cap and screw up the Cowboys roster. He can play that game if he wants to, and all Jerry's going to do is fork up a lot of money at the end and then complain about not winning and not being able to build a roster when you're always a day late and a dollar short with giving away these with properly rewarding players with contracts that have outperformed their contracts. You knew last year you wanted to sign Micah Parsons. There have been at least 4 defensive linemen / outside linebackers that have signed since then, and the price has only gone up. But yet, still, you continue to complain that the price goes up, and you're not willing to provide a contract with that is in line with what he has done over his first 3 years, over his first 4 years in the league. I'm sorry, Jerry's not going to change. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The general manager job for the Dallas Cowboys is the safest job in America. He's been in that position for 30 years and hasn't won shit. You can be in that position, not win, and not have to worry about your job. Until you get another general manager in that position, they will not win. So either he moves on or he moves on. But they not win until it happens.
Hey, man, tell us how you really feel. Justin, your thoughts?
What is there to say?
Nothing.
What is that? We literally went through a whole thing of, well, maybe if they suck this year, they'll trade Dak and they can have a lower tier quarterback. Ain't that why they got Trey Lance or something like that so they can pay money to Micah Parsons so it's not an issue? We literally said and made excuses for Dallas of what they could do, gave you different examples for all 3 of us. And this is what they settled on, having this issue anyway. That is the Dallas Cowboys in a nutshell. They cannot win for losing.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because I look back at, remember when Myles Garrett was saying he wanted a trade or he wanted out, and then all of a sudden, miraculously, Cleveland pays him all his money. All is well. You know what I mean? He's back and he's fine. I thought Dallas should have signed Michael Parsons the next day. He should have been signed the next day, because if you look around, look how many people have gotten paid since that's happened. And like you say, the price has only gone up. Like, that was this offseason, folks. I know it seems like a long time ago, but Myles Garrett was signed right after the season and was given a boatload of money. Everybody said, man, that's a lot of money to give him. The price has only gone up each and every time. We're talking about premier pass rushers. And if Micah Parsons is a premier pass rusher, why wouldn't you? We all know the productivity of a Myles Garrett. We TJ Watt just got paid a boatload of money. I thought the Steelers played with their food too. They should have paid him right away. If you was going to sign him, if that was your decision, as soon as Myles Garrett put ink to paper, that set the market. I would have jumped on it and just put $1 more. But now you playing around, and Max Crosby and all these other guys have signed, and now you're chasing your tail now. It's stupidity. It's malpractice. Trey Hendrickson, look at this guy. Go ahead.
I just don't understand. Maybe I get it with the Scary Terry a little bit based off his age and what you're trying to project from him. I can understand that. But these other two, and as young as Micah is, like, why are we playing with these guys' money? Like, they're millionaires themselves. Some people are billionaires. The longer you wait for a top tier talent, the more you're going to pay. It's that simple. I don't understand. As soon as they get up, like, hey, okay, well, we got a 2-year extension. Well, I'm gonna give you that, and then I'm gonna throw in 3 years more, and I'm gonna give you some more signing bonus with it.
Thank you.
Cool. You just get ahead of it. You saw what they did with Patrick Mahomes. They got ahead of it by
was
far.
Able to compete every year since.
Yeah, ain't that hard.
I agree. But no, Calvin, I disagree with what you're saying. With the receiver market is always going to be different because the money's different and the pool is different. There aren't that many pass rushers sitting out there like a Michael Parsons or Trey Hendrickson or TJ Watt or a Myles Garrett.
You
Those
just
are the
named
top.
four
Top.
of them.
Those are the tippy top guys, though.
Oh.
Those are the tippy top
Yeah,
guys.
it falls off tremendously after
These
that.
are premier pass rushers we talking
Max
about.
Crosby. I say once Max Crosby got his money, I would have
Right
probably
after?
said something right after that.
That was the market was set.
It should have been the Myles Garrett because you can justify paying him less than Myles Garrett, in my opinion. And that's
But
when
at least at that point, if Myles set the market, that's what I'm saying. Once Myles got paid, none of these guys can definitively say that they're better than Myles Garrett.
correct.
That was my point.
That's why I said you could justify paying him less. So once he got paid, you can say we're going to pay you $1 million a year less.
But everybody got paid more. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point. Once Myles got paid, if you just gave him $1 or $2 more than Myles, they can't complain. Like, well, Myles set the market. You know what I mean? So why would you wait until it balloons? And now you're Michael Parsons, and you sit back and say, well, guess what? I'm the last one left. You got to pay me. Or Trey Henderson. I'm the last one. You know what I mean? Like
Trey Henderson is all they got on defense. I don't see how you can not pay him. And he led the league in sacks.
There's two ways of looking at that, though. It's two ways of looking at that. We pay you for what you've done, and we will trash with you. So you can look at it two ways. We can take that money, spread it around, and get the same result on defense.
What we're going to do is we're going to get the money. We're not going to pay you. We're just going to draft someone to replace you.
Exactly.
They can't do that part right either.
They ain't got no good draft. But they got to pay these receivers. You know what I mean? So they paid one, and then they bullcrapped around with the other one. So he not really locked up or nothing like that. It's just a malpractice on their part. But when it comes to Terry McLaurin, from a receiver perspective, I understand it to a degree. But the reason why I don't play with his contract is he's your number one guy on a team where you got a young quarterback. You got a young quarterback who has a great rapport with him. Go ahead, Calvin.
I completely agree. And that's why I said I throw the money in for a short term, but I max I go with 2-3 years. If you want, I can give you that security in that time frame. But I can't extend you beyond that when one, you're older. This is the first time you're hitting free agency and you're older than other receivers in their primes. Two, I got a rookie quarterback on this rookie scale deal, so I can afford to load up everywhere, but I can't afford to pay you in the last year of your deal while I'm also having to pay him in the first year of his deal. I can't have the overlapping because I'm going to lose talent somewhere else. So I have to be able to be smart with my money, but they can throw a ton of money at him now and next year. So I'm assuming it's just the length of the contract. That's all I'm assuming it is. I'm not saying he shouldn't get paid. I'm just saying I understand not giving him a 4 or 5 year deal. It needs to be 2 or 3 in regards to structuring the roster around JD5 better.
But don't you want to keep the receiver happy? We know how.
Yes, I want to keep him there. I want to keep him happy. But the problem is
he's not happy with whatever they offer.
But I can't have you happy, and I can't have this cap situation happy by giving you a 5-year deal that's going to pay you until you're 35. And now I got to pay my quarterback too, but I can't afford to build into the roster around him because I'm paying you as well. And I'm assuming, I haven't looked at that cap situation, that they cannot add whatever the initial signing bonus to this year's cap number because they must be close to the salary cap or close to that threshold. So I understand it. I'm not saying. And they also have the leverage next year because they can franchise him. And I think they would do that as well. I'm just saying, if you have this offense and you can build around a young quarterback, you know how this works. But I can't afford to pay you past your prime when I'm also paying my quarterback, because that's how I have a worse roster, because I can't afford to pay everyone else when I'm overpaying you and the production's no longer there. But he deserves money. He deserves the money.
Good luck. I just don't play with receivers, man. I don't play with receivers, especially with a young quarterback. I don't do it. Other news this past week, the NFLPA has been in shambles. I don't know what's going on. There's been a litany of things happening. We talked briefly about the collusion discussion from a few weeks ago, where the league, there was a discussion about working together to try to keep Lamar Jackson's contract down, and teams not wanting to trade for him, and the PA knowing about this and being tipped off about it. There's a lot of stuff been coming out. But then this latest scandal where during this year's NFLPA summit on February 21st, Lloyd Howell accompanied 2 union employees to Magic City Strip Club for outing that included $2,426 in charges, including cash withdrawals ranging from $200 to $525 from a club ATM. Sources and documents show they used 2 VIP rooms, according to the expense report. The purpose of the strip club outing, player engagement event to support and grow our union. And all of a sudden, Lloyd Howe steps down from his post. They can't keep nobody in the office. This is like the third person who stepped down from NFLPA. They can't find nobody to run this thing. The president is in shambles. There's been a lot of like corruption talk, a lot of collusion talk. What the hell is going on with the NFL, man? And the people they chose to represent NBA's off bad shape as well, but the NFL is not looking good right now. Calvin, what's your thoughts on what's this going on?
Look, I don't have any problem with a work environment fostering a team building exercise in a place where I'm donating funds to the local establishment. I have no problem with that. That should be the standard practice corruption for most. I mean, we're bonding over
wings.
You know, Magic City got some good chicken. That's all I'm gonna say. Lemon pepper Lou, you know, they got lemon pepper wings. They got good breast too, but they got chicken too as well. But I digress.
Extremely. You need to digress all the way.
Just what's your thoughts on this story, man?
It was cut full circle.
No, your circle will definitely collapse. You can't mix too many pleasures together at the end of the day. When you have that kind of money, when you're trying to do certain amount of deals and things like that, it doesn't need to be in the atmosphere of overflowing alcohol and overflowing body parts. It's too much. There's too much going on, and it doesn't take much for someone to see something, someone to say something, someone to say, "Hey, ain't that such and such? Yeah, what they doing?" It doesn't take much for them to do that. The workers, the bartender might be the ones that you just don't know. So to have all that going around, it's like a cloud. You just got a dark cloud over you trying to do business, and things like that get caught up.
It's the topic. I understand. It's the topic.
No, Calvin, you are a hot mess. That's what you are.
I was getting to a point though. My point
you got
was,
to it, all right.
My point was the NFLPA, especially at the top, have had problems dating back to Gene Upshaw, where he would talk about how he was in the commissioner's pocket and he wasn't really for the players, even though he was also a former player. And that's why this is the league with the weakest union, because they don't stand up for each other. They play the most violent sport, but don't have guaranteed contracts. They're not willing to stand on anything to get those guaranteed contracts. Labor argument always turns out in favor of the owners and not the players. And it all starts with the NFLPA. And there have been, like I said, just problems after problems. I don't understand how, if you're in that position, you don't go to the talent. You bring the talent to you. That's first of all. Why are you there in the afternoon? You can go get a hotel.
They're for themselves, man.
You can go get a hotel across the street at the Hilton and invite the talent over, and you can pay them double for the weekend. You just messing up the game. Look, NFLPA, if y'all need somebody to run this labor to run your union, I'm available. I can submit my resume. You won't even catch me in the strip club. You may catch the strippers in. If you need somebody, just give me a call.
Let's move on, Calvin. All right, let's update on the NFL 100. The lists continue to come out. Some more names came out today, but we did get a definitive list. We kind of hinted at this last week. I know it's not the biggest, but yes, Patrick Queen was listed at number 80. We talked about 75. That briefly. Number 75, he was in the top 80. I meant 75. Sam Darnold coming in at 72, Bobby Wagner at 74. So you're telling me that you're going to put Bobby Wagner and Patrick Queen in the same sentence with Vita Veda? Like, come on, man. Bobby Wagner is still playing at a high level at this age.
He had a good year, but I mean, he's
still playing better than Patrick Queen. I'd have picked him up to play next to Roquan as a linebacker on my team. Khalil Mack, Dak Prescott.
Huh? Well, they tried to sign him. They didn't try to pick him up.
They tried.
Before they got Roquan, they tried to.
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey. I know he's coming off an injury, so I did have to ask, what kind of evaluation do they do to put this list together? Is this strictly off of what they did last year? Because what the hell is this?
Yeah, I don't agree with that Christian McCaffrey because he still has tendonitis in both his knees. That doesn't go away. So he didn't do anything last year. What do you expect him to do even less this year? I don't see how he's anywhere near that top 100. That has to be like a career award for him.
Justin, your thoughts on this updated list as they count down to number one?
Completely trash. There's no way. And shout out to everybody from 71, from 80 to 71. Shout out to everyone except for 76. Vita Vea is the base, the anchor of the whole Tampa Bay defense, and for him to be this low,
disrespectful.
I got Levante David. I know he's aging. He's every year he could retire. I get that, no doubt. But Vita, there's not too many other defensive tackles that's just a pure defensive tackle outside of Philadelphia that we have in the league. Like, he's like premier, and for him to be this low is so it's a bit hurtful. Patrick Queen is rated higher. After all we said about Patrick Queen.
That's what I said. This discounts the entire list. I think I want to end this segment. We're not talking about this anymore. This list is discounted. Let's move on. But it did get me to thinking, and everyone's been doing their top 10 quarterback lists heading into the season. And I found that as we open up training camp and the discussion's been happening, we know Cam Newton and Ryan Clark kind of been going at it, talking about Jalen Hurts and different guys and Jaden Daniels, and he's close to being in the top 10, but he's not there yet, all that kind of stuff. So I found this might be an interesting discussion for us to have tonight, and that is, who's your top 10? So I, put our handy dandy chart together, and we're going to start tonight going in order. Who are your top 10 quarterbacks? Now, somebody got some music or something in my ear playing. I don't know what it is. Radio station. But, yeah, mute that. But if we're gonna go one at a time, starting at number 10, who's in order the number 10 quarterback in the NFL right now? Calvin, you see a name first. Who you got? All right.
Jordan Love.
Okay.
Number 10.
Jordan Love is number 10 quarterback in the NFL. Tell us why.
Second full year as a starter. I expected more the first full year. I expect him to build on that year. They have a pretty good offense up there in Green Bay. They've been building up that defense. They kind of went on the younger side. They played in a pretty tough division with Detroit and Minnesota, who both won 15 games last year. So they were the third best team in the division, winning 10, 11 games. So I do think he is expected to lead an offense. I do think he had first year starter issues, but I expect him to build upon that. And I think he can take leaps into the top 5 even. But this is starting off, I got him as 10th.
Okay. Justin, who you got?
I got Jared Goff.
Jared Goff, the Detroit Lions, hell of a year.
Not proud of it, but at the end of the day, I think he still have all those weapons, guys. I think he's a product of the weapons. So how many years are you going to go by saying like, yo, well, he's nice, but no, at the end of the day, he's just pretty good. Those numbers are not going to drop too much from year to year. So as long as he still got those weapons, he's still going to be statistically in the top 5 in a lot of categories.
I think that's low, man. But hey, he's in the top 10.
We think it's low.
I think that's low.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's low. For me, look, I love, y'all. I got a love-hate relationship with some of these guys, but if I'm heading into 2025 and this kind of a projection as well, somebody's playing something in the background. Please mute it, please. I'm going with Brock Purdy.
I thought that was feedback. It sounded like you.
I'm not playing nothing though.
No, it sounds like when you talk, it's repeating because I hear it too.
Yeah, let me mute my mic. Y'all.
Oh, so you want us to try something and say something? Do you hear anything
Yeah.
in my background?
No, I don't hear it. It sounds like it's just him repeating. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's cool. Yeah, Brock Purdy's number 10 for me. He just got paid his money. I think he's done enough over the last couple of years to show himself to be worthy of being in the top 10. And that's why I'm going with Brock Purdy at the bottom of my 10. I'll go number 9 for me. And look, this is no hate. If you're in the top 10, you're pretty damn good. I'm going Baker Mayfield. I think Baker has played well. He's a playoff quarterback, but the turnovers are still an issue for me. And too many times he'll throw you 3 touchdowns, but he might throw you 2 picks.
Only in the second quarter.
Hey, it happens. Baker number 9 on my list. Go on, Justin.
Number 9, DJ.
That's low.
I don't care.
You got Baker over CJ?
Don't disrespect me like that.
What? Well, go ahead. That's fine.
Great guy. Better than
You
Jared
know what?
Goff.
You know what's crazy? I don't even think I got Baker in my top 10, but all right. Both of y'all got him in the top 10.
Disrespect.
Continues. I got Dak at 9. Over Baker, yes.
I mean, he hasn't played like that. We talking about when's the last time Dak has been a big time quarterback?
5 years ago.
No, not even that.
Right outside of COVID.
And I mean, he still has the number 1. I can't I'm not going to take away from the quarterback because the GM decided not to get a running back last year, and you basically became one dimensional.
He can't stay healthy,
which caused you to take unnecessary hits. I still think you're a top tier quarterback. You rebuilt the offensive line. You have a motivated Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders at running back now, so I think that's why I got Dak.
All right, we got it. Number 7.
Number 8.
No, 8.
I got Hurts. I'm not a big Hurts. I'm not big on the Hurts bandwagon.
The defending Super Bowl champion.
I mean, look, he had the best team, so he should have won. I'm not saying anything against Hurts. He had the best team. He had the best running back last year. He had one of the best offenses. He had the best receivers. So how much credit am I really going to give the quarterback when you had the best of everything and you just didn't F it up? He's still top 10. I just don't think you really contributed as much as others did last year.
So he's just one slot above Dak after he
won
the Super Bowl. Yeah. And Dak couldn't finish the season. And the other person won the Super Bowl.
Any one of the 7 quarterbacks on that list put on Philadelphia win. So what am I really giving you credit for besides not effing up?
That might actually choke.
You sound like Cam Newton now.
It's true. It's true.
All right. Who you got at 8, Justin?
Matthew Stafford.
Damn, that's kind of low for him. Okay, man. Maybe my list is a little different than y'all's. Okay.
You got Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, I just put the names. Tell us why he's at number 8.
Just Matthew Stafford's gonna be Matthew Stafford. He's going to keep in a lot of games. He has 2 great weapons to throw the ball to. And shout out to Kyle Williams out the backfield. He was definitely too low on that top 100 list as well. So I like the fact that Puka's there. I like the fact that Devontae's there. And Matthew's he's gonna throw the ball. The man's gonna throw the ball until he's 60 years old. One thing Matthew Stafford gonna do is throw that rock. So shout out to the Georgia product. Yeah, I just think that's right where he wants to be right there. Top 8.
Okay. Here's where I put CJ. I just think he's shown some flashes. I think the weapons not being there last year kind of hurt him, but I don't think 8 is a bad spot for the young quarterback. Had a bit of a sophomore slump, but again, we'll see if he's able to bounce back this year. Next, I go number 7 on my list, and look, I would love to put Tua here, but I just think Tua's injuries
Way too high.
don't put him where he need to go. This is tough because I feel like with the way this list is going to work out, I'm gonna be very angry with leaving someone off. But I think to be fair, I go Dak here. I think Dak is worthy of being on the list. He's proven himself to be good enough.
You had him ranked higher than me.
You're right.
Oh.
But I don't have my issue wasn't with that. It was with you putting him next to
it was Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Oh, it hurt. Everybody above him is better, in my opinion. So
Okay, go ahead, Justin.
Next, look, it's troubles. It's troubles in the preseason. We got to see if he's going to have his weapons. We got to see if he can maintain everything he did last year. CJ dropped from one year to another year, although he made it to the playoffs. The next person for me is Jaden Daniels.
For some reason, Jaden Daniels didn't come up on my thing. But
put Kyler there. It works.
We'll put Kyler there. This is Jaden Daniels, everyone.
That's Tua. That is Tua, by the way you put that. Let's not do that.
I know, but it's Jaden Daniels. We'll act like that's Jaden Daniels. No. We'll put Kyler. You're right. Let's
Close enough.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. I think that's not bad. JD5 at number, what's that? 7?
you got 7. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What's your thoughts, Calvin? Next.
I mean, I got him coming up soon as well. I got JD5 as well next. Just building on. I expect him to build on that's rookie season, no sophomore slump. They got to add a weapon in Debo, another year in that offense, just another year, just at the helm of this offense. I expect bigger and better things from JD5. I saw Colin got confused for a second. Next, I got Stafford. Kind of like Justin said, he's going to be able to throw that ball for the next 20 years. He's got great receivers. They added Devontae Adams to Puka. You had Kyron Williams at the running back position. They got a ton of weapons. They got a young defense, but more importantly, they weren't expected to do much over the last couple of years post Super Bowl, and he still led that offense. Outside of a couple of years ago when he wasn't healthy, but he still led that offense last year. It led him all the way to the NFC Championship game on his arm. So I got Matthew Stafford in my 6th spot?
Yeah.
5th spot.
6. 1, 2,
6
3,
spot,
4,
yeah.
5. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to
10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Yeah, something ain't right.
I got 1 spot left.
Go ahead, Justin.
All right, rounding out right outside the top 5. This was difficult for me. I didn't know if anybody else had issues with their top 6, but for me, the 6th person, and I would love to put him higher. And next year, I will definitely be putting him in the top 3. Baker Mayfield. He's going to prove everybody this year. That's not fan voting either.
You got him over Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
wow.
Goddamn right.
Okay.
Over CJ.
We're gonna see.
Over Jared Goff.
Top 5 in yards, top 5 in touchdowns.
I go Jaden Daniels here.
Quarterback.
So at number 5 for me, this is tough, man. But
it's not. Go ahead and put Hurts right there.
Nah, number 5, I put Matthew Stafford. Great quarterback, phenomenal quarterback, even. You know what I mean? But I think he has the litany of weapons. I just think his mobility isn't what it used to be, and that's the only reason why. And we saw that in the playoffs, in the final game in the snow. If he had a little bit more mobility, we'd have seen a little bit towards the end of that game. He wouldn't have faltered off where he did. But it's a great player, great player. Justin, who's next for you?
So that's 6 for you, right? So you got 4 more after that.
I got 4 more.
Okay, understood.
So wait. So whoa. So you have no Hurts,
Huh?
You have no Hurts.
I think I've messed up somewhere, but we'll
You
sort
damn
that
sure
out in a
messed up.
minute.
I was sitting here trying to give you an outline.
Man,
I said that's your list, right? That's where we
No,
at.
I was going wait because I was going to see if you're going to put Hurts up there.
I think this belongs off, and let me quickly make that adjustment. And I think this belongs here. But go ahead.
You still have no Hurts.
So you still have no Hurts.
Did I mess that up again? No, because the
Do you
4
think
is
Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback? That's pretty much.
I don't think he's top 5.
Is he top 10 for you at this point?
Because
Yes,
I'm
he's
assuming.
10.
So who is it? You knocking somebody off then?
Let me take Baker down here. Say no.
God, interest.
Let me yeah.
You
Sorry,
want me to go so that you can get some time?
I wasn't gonna say nothing because y'all went at me for having Jalen Hurts 8th, and I'm like, I don't see none of y'all having them now, and I know who the top 4 are. So
that's why I was like, I kind of said that's 6. So
I'm waiting.
You got 4.
We good now. All right.
Is Jalen Hurts your 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got
So,
4.
same-
You know the
same
4.
for me.
Just gotta do the order. All right. Go ahead. Who you got? Jalen?
Jalen Hurts. Yes.
Yeah. Bro, I was like, because you counting down from the bottom, I my math was off a little bit. I'm like,
I'm sitting there like I'm waiting like, yo, y'all went at me for having Hurts 8th, and y'all need one. Y'all got
I
him.
didn't write my
One of
list
y'all got
down,
him
all right.
top 10.
Hey, nobody I didn't know we was gonna talk about this. Ain't nobody right
I mean, I came up with it on the fly. You know what I mean?
Oh,
when you text that Cam Newton thing earlier, I started watching a bunch of videos. I was like, hey, let's do a top 10 tonight. Go ahead, Calvin. Who you got?
Scroll up for a second because I don't want to knock.
And this is Jaden Daniels.
Knock off Jordan Love and put.
Exactly. Don't belong on this
What's
list.
going on with y'all list, man? What are we
Hey,
doing?
man.
Put up. Do I have CJ up there?
No.
Put CJ there.
No.
Yeah, I took CJ off of mine. You want him at 10?
Yeah, 10. Because I'm gonna have Golf at 5.
I would say golf got to be on your list.
Yeah, I got
I'm
Golf.
proud of everybody here. All right, here we go. Now we can order the guys that matter.
Okay.
Who you got? Who's number 4?
So are we doing how this is based off of last year, right?
This is your opinion
Okay,
on who's the top
this is
4
just my
quarterbacks.
opinion.
So
in the
I
league.
think it's a combination of last year and then heading into this year as of
which,
right
okay, okay. At 4, I had Patrick Mahomes.
I knew you was gonna do it.
At 4, I had Patrick Mahomes. If that's how we're doing, I had Patrick Mahomes at 4.
Because
Yes.
this is not written their whole life. This man just
Yes,
came
this
off
is
a
11
Super
of the
Bowl
last 2
appearance.
years. The
A
last
Super
year,
Bowl appearance.
last year, I'm looking at Lamar Jackson had 40 and 4.
So
I'm
you
looking
at
at Joe
this
Burrow.
point, just don't go to the Super Bowl.
No. We're talking about regular season. I had Lamar
No, this
Jackson.
is overall.
Okay,
This
we're
is
going overall. Just okay. Okay, fine. And Lamar Jackson went 40 and 4 in the regular season. Joe Burrow threw for almost 5,000 yards. Allen was the quote unquote MVP. What did Patrick Mahomes? Patrick Mahomes went to the Super Bowl, but the last
He
2
won.
years, statistically, he didn't win
All
last year.
he did was just win.
He didn't win last year.
He didn't win, but he got there.
Okay.
He got there.
Hey, this your
Statistically,
list.
quarterback
This your
wise,
list.
he
This
has
your
been the
list.
worst of those 4 quarterbacks. Go ahead, y'all
Yeah.
go next.
All right,
All
you
right.
got it.
Justin,
Go
who
ahead.
you got?
I shouldn't have said anything. Joe Burrow. Weapons out the glue. We know that. Hold on to the ball a little bit more.
You thought about
Stop
that for
turning
a
the ball
long
over.
time. You trying to justify not putting Pat Mahomes 4. I understand.
I put Joe Burrow there
Absolutely
as
not.
well. He did nothing. His team had no team success. Yeah, he had some stats, but it led to nothing. And
Wait, so team success account for the quarterback even though he don't have defense?
Yeah, you got to win games. He lost games at the end because he made mistakes. It wasn't just the defense; it was him too. So no, you don't get credit for that. No. Number 3 for me, I go Mahomes, and that's coming off the Super Bowl. I will say that generally I do respect winning a little bit more, but like you say, stats wasn't that great, and that's becoming a pattern here. It's not like it's the first time he's had a down year in stats. Just taking a step back as far as the individual accolades and his on the field play. So I think he's fallen to number 3 in the league. And I don't think you can perennially say Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league anymore. That I definitely don't think that should be the narrative. We just set that in stone. He has the most accomplishments right now, but I don't think you can say he's the best quarterback. Justin, your thoughts? I mean, who's your next one?
I ain't gonna lie, it's tough. At this point, Lamar Jackson. The man don't win when you're winning to win. I guess it's him. Lamar Jackson, man. I'm not proud of it.
Proud of it,
I'm not really real talk. I want him to do well. I want him to shake that narrative of just getting right there, but then not necessarily getting over the hump. I really want him to shake that. Hopefully, this is the year that he shakes it, gets to the Super Bowl, and loses to Baker Mayfield. But he gotta eventually get past those other 2 quarterbacks, and he's just not there yet, unfortunately.
What you got, Calvin?
Burrow. Amazing stats. I think he threw for damn near 5,000 yards, had the 3rd or 4th highest QBR. Just an amazing offense. But there are games that they should have won, especially on offense. Early in the year, I remember them losing to Commanders at home. And they had to score 40 a week basically to win ball games. Going into each game, you knew that. And if you don't succeed, I have to blame someone, preferably the quarterback. He had a phenomenal year. It just didn't translate into the playoffs, and you had to rely on too many things towards the end of the year. A Kansas City loss, beating Denver and Pittsburgh late just to have a chance at the playoffs. So I gotta knock the quarterback, even though you did everything you could. It wasn't enough, but I need you to do more.
All right. So by process elimination, tell us who's 1 and who's 2.
I got Lamar 1 and Josh Allen 2. I think statistically, Lamar had the 4th best season ever for a quarterback. And this is not in the last 5 years, not in the last 10 years. This is ever. You went 40-4, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions over the course of regular season. I believe you had the highest QBR, and this is a running quarterback. And everyone wants to talk about. We could just look at what he does on offense and how he moves pieces with his eyes and with his legs. You go back and look at the Pittsburgh game, some of the fakes that he used with Derrick Henry, and see how he shifted the linebackers and allowed Derrick Henry to have success in the run game. What he does allowed Derrick Henry to run for 1,900 yards. A lot of what it was we are scared of Lamar. We fear Derrick Henry, but we're absolutely terrified of Lamar Jackson, and he is the best quarterback in the league. When you have 4 and every one of those interceptions should not have been an interception. They were tip balls that touched the receiver's hands. I could think of the Washington game where it bounced off of, I believe it was Andrews' chest, or it was the receiver's chest, and went to the defender. He had the 4th, I'll say it again, the 4th best season for a quarterback, and somehow didn't win MVP because we had to give one away to Josh Allen because he deserves one, because he may not win one, or he may not win a Super Bowl in his career. So we got to make sure he feels okay about himself and make sure he gets in the Hall of Fame. So we got to give him an MVP. He did not deserve the MVP. But as I said before, if the Ravens beat Cleveland or if the Ravens beat the Raiders, it doesn't matter. He wins the MVP. That Buffalo game is at home, and who knows what happens. So ultimately, that goes on Lamar as well, because you were in those 2 games. The defense didn't play well in the majority of the season, and you had to score 30 to win. You had to score 40 on average to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. So everything that I'm saying that he had to do last year, all that was put on his shoulders to win ball games, and it just wasn't enough at the end. But to have the fourth best season in NFL history for a quarterback says a lot about a quarterback that some people said couldn't throw and still said he can't throw. So
Okay.
going into this
Can
year,
I? Is it time for me yet?
Yeah.
Is it a
We'll be here
big
all night.
thing? Jeez.
Justin, go ahead.
Yeah, all right, he good. He great. Yeah, should have won 3 times. Got it. Go ahead. All right, me. Number 2, Josh Allen. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes.
Explain that.
Don't need to. The one wins, the other one can't beat the other guy. That's it. That's just what it
he
is.
didn't win last year. He got his ass whooped in the Super Bowl by like
Yeah,
40
but he
points.
got there
They
in
didn't
the
score.
AFC.
They didn't score.
Did Lamar show up? Did Josh Allen was there? No, neither one of them was there. They can't
All right.
beat Patrick. That's it.
For me, number 2, I got
It's the best
Lamar.
of both worlds.
Lamar is a great quarterback, but he can't win in big games, and he hasn't proven it. And Josh Allen is number 1. He's the reigning MVP heading into this year. He plays in the weakest division. He'll have the easiest schedule. He'll have the best opportunity to repeat, get back there. He beat the Ravens. He beat Lamar head-to-head in the playoffs. He was the MVP, and until that changes, he deserves to be number 1 spot in the NFL. I think he's good on the ground. I think he's good with his arm, and he's proven himself to be the best quarterback right now, currently as we stand. If Lamar wants to change that, do something about it. That's my opinion.
Do something about it.
I'm sticking with it. All right. So good exercise, and we'll save this and come back to it later in the year. This is our official list now. Now, any changes that y'all want to make? Calvin, are you happy with your 10?
I'm happy with my 10. I would change the order, but
What's your order? What order do you want to change? I'm going to remove Kyler Murray and put 85.
I'll probably swap CJ and Jalen Hurts because CJ had a down year. That's the only.
You're going to skip Dak?
I'm going to skip Dak. What you mean?
You say you would swap.
I said I'm going to swap CJ and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I meant JD5 and Jalen Hurts.
Got you.
So I had Jalen Hurts. No, and Matt and Stafford and Hurts. So Hurts should be 7. Yeah.
You cool with that?
Yeah.
How about you, Justin? You cool with your list?
Put Baker in my top 5, man. Go ahead and switch that. Go ahead and switch that, man. Go ahead and switch that. Yes, sir. I'm good.
Y'all can never talk about my Jalen Hurts take if you're gonna put Baker in the top 5.
That's just
shake and bake, baby. This is the year.
I'm
proud nobody had Herbert on his list.
Oh no.
I thought somebody was gonna put him in like 10-9.
The thing is, he is consensus top 10 quarterback. You won't go to too many top 10 rankings, and Herbert won't be there.
So who coming off? Baker?
Now Baker rounds out he's like number 10 in a few people's list.
I'm surprised you had Purdy to start off with. That threw me off.
Nah, I was literally doing a baseline.
And then the numbers start to creep up. You're like, wait, I'm missing somebody.
I was like, nah, that don't work, Chief. All right.
The top 4 is the top 4. So what is like
the top 4 is the top 4.
That's why I say I was running out of room, man.
When you start running out of room, it's like, well, I ain't got golf on here, and I ain't got. All right,
I know they in my middle of the pack. Golf and Stafford, the white boys. I put them towards the middle. Anyway, let's get to the NBA. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think anybody falls off that list this year?
I mean, quite possibly.
If it does, it gotta be for Herbert, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, Dak could have been off my list this year, but I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt heading into this year because of those dynamic weapons he had. Got 2 good receivers. He better be great. You hear me, Calvin? Got Pickens now. Y'all got 2 great receivers. You better be great. Anyway.
Yeah, they'll be like Cincinnati. Put up a ton of numbers.
Dame went back to Portland this week. What's your thoughts on this decision by Dame? You know, he's still getting paid from Milwaukee. He's going to be rehabbing the injury, and then he goes out there and goes back home. I'm sure he has a house out there. It's convenient. He ain't got to do much with rehab. He knows the facility. So I think this is all about a business decision. What's your thoughts, Justin?
Well, it's a few things. One, he's home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he is a loyal guy, as much as he claimed to be. Got traded to Milwaukee. Couldn't bring his kids with him like that. They visited, but he couldn't open up shop there. I don't know whether he didn't know he was going to be there long term or not. I don't know whether his kid's mother.
It was a divorce.
I'm about to say, is his kid's mother keeping the kids in Portland and things like that? So as a result, although he's making all the money, he couldn't necessarily keep the kids with him. So, you know, and that sucks for him. And you could tell it was definitely affecting him throughout the whole entire season. And some of the maybe some small things, maybe the fact that everyone wants to see Giannis and no one is necessarily saying, "Hey, can we talk to Dame?" Little things like that kind of irk you, you know. That being probably in some condominium, a hotel suite, and it's just empty. There's just no one running around, no little pitter patter kids running around, things like that. When you have kids and that's all you do is just hear like little footsteps and stuff, when it's not there, it does tear on you a little bit. It does weigh on you. So I think it was a lot of things, and then he couldn't necessarily go back to Portland and rehab in their facility, which he probably could get access to. But Milwaukee's like, you're not doing that, so we letting you go, so on and so forth. And that's where he signed up for. So I think he's happy. I think Dame will be Dame. He's not going to be prime Dame no more, but his psyche will be happy. Chauncey said he's going to be the highest paid assistant head coach right now. So I don't know whether Dame takes that and makes the transition into coaching after his NBA stint, his last few years. So it'll be nice just to see, you know, just him playing, just being happy again. We won't necessarily see him play this year, but we know that he's happy. I'm okay with that.
Can we just all agree that he didn't want to be in Milwaukee because he wanted to be in Miami from the jump? If this was Miami,
if they was winning, I think it'd be different.
I don't think. I mean, it would have been nice, but
at the same time,
I don't think
he wanted to be in Miami. Why didn't he sign with Miami?
He wanted to be in Miami 2 years ago when he wanted to get traded. I'll say it like that. At this point, I think it's personal. It's not a business decision. It's just personal. It's what he wants to do. He wants to be around his family, and I can't fault you for that, regardless of the situation with the Trailblazers. Now, would you look at him differently if he doesn't win a title? I mean, we didn't really have them as favorites to win in Milwaukee the last couple of years, but he probably could have gotten an easy title over the next couple of years, but that's looked at differently. So, and they will be competitive with the picks that they have. They still have Drew Holiday they could flip as well. So if he's happy, I think you get a better Dame because you can kind of tell that Dame wasn't all the way invested in Milwaukee for whatever reason, be it that his kids weren't there, be it that he didn't want to be there from the jump. So I'm happy he's there. I'm happy he's still getting paid for Milwaukee, getting all that money. I just think you just look at his place in basketball history a little bit differently now because he may not have that ring and this is when we go back to talking about ring culture and you know how important are rings to legacy and things like that. So, but he's back where he wants to be.
My only pushback to that is he's already top 75. I think he's good. I think he's good with that.
I mean, I'm not saying he was never going to be a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying he wasn't top 75. I made the argument that, you know, I think Clay and I think Dwight Howard should have been in over him and AD at that point, but that's neither here nor there. His place in basketball history is solidified. It's just when, in my opinion, when you talk about point guards, he's not one of the first 5 or 6 that you bring up, or even top 10 over the course of history. But he's top 75, no doubt.
Yeah, we'll see. But good for him. He did something for his family, and the man's still getting paid from 2 organizations. So can't be mad at that. The LA Clippers made a decision to bring back Chris Paul. Chris Paul re-signs with the Clippers. We know he's found probably the best success of his career for the longest period of time. He had his early stint in New Orleans, and then he went out to LA, and then we know what he did down in Phoenix, Houston, San Antonio. So been
OKC.
kind of a journeyman. OKC been pretty much a journeyman, but now he goes to that LA team, which already has a bunch of veterans, a bunch of guys. So he's probably gonna be coming off the bench, adding some backup support to James Harden at the point guard position. I don't think this is nothing to really, put them over the top or anything like that, but I could see him possibly being on that Clippers team to retire as a Clipper, and get his jersey, get lifted to the rafters. Calvin, what's your thoughts? Chris Paul going back to LA.
I think this is another one to go home type story. I believe his family has lived in LA since he originally left and went to Houston. 5 or 6, 7, actually about 8 years ago at this point. So I think this is where he just wanted to be, and this provided him the best chance to win a ring as well. This is the oldest team in the league, which is interesting. But now when Kawhi doesn't play, you have a point guard, and now you can slide Harden over to be that main scoring threat. And you also have Beal there. You have depth with Zubac and Brook Lopez and John Collins as well. So they're a deep team. They're an older team. But I think this is just where he wanted to be. And this is where he's familiar with the familiarity with the organization. And like I said, his family's there as well. So this is also just kind of a going home story.
Justin, your thoughts?
Larry, what you just did? Did you just yawn?
Yeah.
That's my thoughts. I'm not okay. Calvin, you made it. Hey man, you should be a salesman, brother. That was very nice what you just said. They're very, they got depth and they got veterans and they're 2-3 deep in every position, and they ain't got not one athletic person that's young and can get in a chair at all on that whole entire roster. This is just a waste of a talent of a throwback team, and they'll win just enough games to keep it interesting to the point where we won't see them pass the second round if they get that far. Thank you, Clippers, for wasting our time.
Tell us how you really feel. Hilarious. Let's move on to some WWE. So last week on SmackDown, the match was signed with Cody taking John Cena's hand and signing the contract. It will be a street fight at SummerSlam. Cody Rhodes, John Cena for the WWE Championship will main event night 2. I've seen the schedule for some of these matches that are now rolled out. This will be the main event on night 2 of SummerSlam in New York. Calvin, are you excited for Cody to get the title back at MetLife Stadium?
I'm excited for how he gets the title back. I want to know. I want to see, is this a double turn? Do we get a heel and a face turn from both of them? Do we get a special appearance? Will the final boss, quote unquote, show up once again? I'm just interested to see how it happens, because I think if you don't believe the Seth angle that was a work and that he'll actually show up, this is the most interesting match in regards to what's going to happen and how it affects the future. So I'm just kind of interested to see what actually happens and how Cody wins, in my opinion.
Justin, your thoughts on this match? I know you hate Cody Rhodes.
I don't hate Cody Rhodes. I just hate whatever Cody
Strongly
Rhodes
dislike.
is. The entity that is Cody Rhodes, the woe that is Cody Rhodes, the fact that he came on Goldberg's speech, Cody Rhodes, when he didn't necessarily need to do that and have his theme music and all that. That's the part of it. It's not Cody. It's everything else that's around
grandstand.
And if he wins again, you know what? I don't want him to win. How about that? I don't want him to win. I hope Cena beats him, and I hope he goes into some type of denial and let that lead into Street Fighter, and then he comes back as a whole different person. Because he can't go heel and then play Guile. That doesn't make sense to me. Guile is an American hero when it comes to Street Fighter. So
he's playing Guile?
Yes.
So him and Reigns in the movie?
Yes, together.
Okay.
One will probably have more scenes than the other. So that's where we're at with it. I hope he wins. I hope Cena wins. That way Cody can go cry somewhere and come back angry, and then he flips the script then.
I hope Cody wins this title, closes out the weekend, babyface champion runs up to the sunset, and we start off a new program. Maybe The Rock comes out. I don't know. You need to do something big at the end of this show, but Cody needs to be the champion. I think Cena has stalled the title. It's become stale with him on top because he's barely there. And then he can't go in the ring. Like, let's get this title back on somebody who can put out good matches on top as the champion. And I'm looking forward to Cody being the champion once again. I like to see him and Drew McIntyre, him with some different talent at the top. I think it'll be good. So I'm ready for Cody to get the title back on the SmackDown brand. Next up, we had this face-off between Gunther and CM Punk at the opening Raw this week. Not the most eventful build. I thought last week they did a tremendous job with the gauntlet. CM Punk throwing the stare down at the end of the show. But again, they didn't really give him a lot in this promo this week. They're going to have to do something to heat this thing up on Monday. Even though I think this show is kind of built already, doesn't really need a lot. No one contendership. I think what happens after this match is what will really be the test. Because as I predicted last week, and I think you probably read reports, Seth is not hurt. He's not injured. He was a little nicked up. They decided to go with this angle, keep him out. I think at the end of this match, Seth is coming out after Punk beats Gunther. Seth is cashing in that Money in the Bank, and he's beating CM Punk. And CM Punk's going to be livid and going to be chasing Seth probably all the way to WrestleMania. But I think Punk beats Gunther at SummerSlam. Yeah. Seth Rollins cashes in that Money in the Bank, and Seth will walk out of SummerSlam as the new World Heavyweight Champion. Calvin, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Punk is winning. My thoughts were always based off, is the Rollins quote unquote injury really a work or not? Like, and as reports have come out, it's been more and more that this is what's actually going to happen, and it's a surprising angle to take, just to kind of, but you're giving him a couple weeks off as well, allowing him to kind of have this build up, but also his faction is just kind of suffering because the promo that Braun Breaker cut Monday wasn't his best. Could have been a lot better, in my opinion.
I think Heyman is their mouthpiece, though. I think.
Yeah, but it wasn't it wasn't the one from a couple weeks prior, from the week prior, and that's what I was expecting.
From Seth.
Yeah, I was expecting him to kind of build on that, and that's what I was expecting. And that's why I said I was disappointed. But I do think Punk wins, and I do think the Rollins cash-in is in play if he's really not hurt. But is that the only turn that we expect? I mean, we know it just kind of feels like if everyone knows this, is there another turn in my book?
We'll keep talking as we go down the rest of the card. Justin?
Yeah. Gunther probably going to have to drop that title. I think it's time for CM Punk to have some kind of reign. I think Seth still cashes in, not at SummerSlam, but I think it's in due time. But I think CM Punk needs to have just a little bit of a reign. Eventually, he's going to have something. So I just think now is the time to do it. Let him just take the title off of Gunther, let him have the mouthpiece to go with it, and let CM Punk be CM Punk. We haven't really seen him be CM Punk in quite some time, and I think CM Punk is better as a champion than a chaser, and I'm looking forward to it. So I hope if Seth does come out some kind of, let's say that happens, I hope someone stops it. I hope Roman stop it. As soon as they say ding, 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 and the bell is rang, and now it's a triple threat match, I hope do and you hear those bells, you hear those things go off, because they're probably night one. So they'll be rested. Roman will be rested for night two. Whenever this match is, it doesn't matter. Whenever this match is, you hear those OTC, and then the mythological creature that is Roman Reigns comes out, and you think that it's Santa Claus, you think it's Christmas. No, it's just Roman, and he's going to come out and he's going to interfere with Seth cashing in if he does do it.
Okay,
that's one thing I do agree. I just thought of, we haven't had a CM Punk title run, and he's been back for almost 2 years. It'd be 2 years in November, so it's about time. So I didn't think about it like that.
See, I think Punk wants his WrestleMania main event, and I think they can tease it by him.
Night 2 main event. He had a main event this year. You want a night 2 main event?
Yeah, what they consider the main event is the second night. You know what I mean? Like he got his night 1 main event, but that was a triple threat. It wasn't for the title. It was just a regular match with him and Roman and Seth. but I think he wants that big one, and I think that'll be the good payoff. Him actually winning the title at this year's Mania, but we'll see. Roman Reigns returned on Raw this week for the second week in a row. Promo segment with Heyman and the Thugs. I don't know what they call each other. Heyman and his guys, the Bronze, maybe the Breakers. I don't know what they call themselves. But I thought they did a great job with the setup, bringing Jay out for the double spear and setting up this tag team match. And Roman issued the challenge on social media. Heyman responded. And this match looked like it's now official for SummerSlam. I don't know if this is going to be on night 1 or night 2, but we got the Uso and the Cousins versus the Bronze. Was it Breaker and what the hell is his name? Lord,
Bronson Reed.
Bronson and Braun Breaker. So, Justin, your thoughts on this one?
This will be fun. This will be a nice, fun match. It's one of the early passing of the torches, as we say. We know Roman said it himself, and Braun said it as well. But Roman said, like, yo, you're gonna be the guy in 5 years or so. You're gonna be that dude, and it makes you think of all the other passing of the torching type moments. So this is one of those moments. Either you like it or you don't. Braun is going to be he's next. He is next up. How successful it's going to be is going to be up to him and his creative team. But just to have these two, just to have this moment, it should close out a SummerSlam event. Not necessarily night 2, but they should close out night 1. You don't want to have the electricity that's going to happen when Roman OTC comes out, and then the yeeting right afterwards or right before it. The crowd is going to be at an all-time high, and then you're going to have other matches after that. Like it's going to be a tremendous drop off, and I just don't want that to happen. So, for the sake of the card, this should close out night 1, and then they can reset, and then they can actually have night 2 being night 2.
See, I don't agree with that. Yeah. I think you could actually get away with putting this match somewhere, and then after it, you can do the cage match, or you can do some other match where it's a bunch of chicanery where the crowd will get back into it. But you got to close each night with the title matches, in my opinion. I think because you might get a cash in on one night. No, because I think those type of matches were a little different too. You started with Jay because Jay was heating, crowd was going crazy, night 1 of WrestleMania. I think you could start with this match at SummerSlam, and the crowd will be great. The crowd will be amped to see Roman and Jay coming out first.
About how the next match, that match after that, it was a drop. It was a drop.
You trying to ride that wave to the end?
I just think, I don't know if you have to main event it. Could you? Of course you could. I just think if you look at the totality of this card, I mean, I could go. Maybe you open with Punk and Gunther. That's a good point, but
you open up with Punk.
I think you can justify putting them on as the main event on night 1. I really think you could. It's a world title match, man. Io Sky.
If you had more time, real quick, if you had more time for them to go back and forth, as in Punk and Gunther, then I would be 100% behind that pause. But
it's not there yet. But see, I don't think it's about that. I think it's about what happens after it.
Correct.
You don't want.
That's why you're gonna end the show with that.
You got to end the show with Seth Rollins cashing in.
Correct.
I mean that if that's what's going to happen,
that's what happens. Yes,
it's main event.
But
you're
also,
not starting the show with that.
But also, I believe if that's the case, then you can start night 1 with this match.
Yeah.
You
could. You very much could. And you remember, you got a cage match.
There's no
go ahead.
There's no thought process. I know you probably was listening to Dave Mesler and all them dudes or whatever, but there's no thought that Seth can do a Naomi and switch it and go after the Cena's title. There's no way he can do that.
No.
Only if Cena wins.
It's not the money. The money's not in that. The money is in Punk and Roman, and that's the other title. I just don't see that. Cody and Seth is not in the cards. Cody's title is a separate entity right now. I think the money is Roman. I think the money is CM Punk, and those things are happening on Netflix. That's not happening on SmackDown right now. And I think that is
all that money.
Netflix is where you need the attraction because the numbers have been down. So they're putting a little juice on Netflix. USA, that ain't the big money. You know what I mean? Like SmackDown is fine. They just went back to 2 hours. They'll be all right. They need to put some juice on Netflix. That's why you see Roman, he not on SmackDown no more. Now he on Raw. CM Punk, Raw. You know what I mean? They might go and do a little stint over there. Cody will show up. That's enough for them. You know what I mean? I'm just telling you, there ain't no Dave tell. That's just talking to other people I know. But yeah, I'm just telling you.
Understood.
The juice is there on Raw for a reason. And if you see, even if you look at the way this card is laid out, supposedly it might be doing a tag team TLC match or a ladder match with all the tag teams from SmackDown. Supposedly, you know,
I heard that too. That's
you got
hell of a match.
The cage match with Jacob Fatu and Solo. Those are matches that you put. They could be main events, you know what I mean? But that's that you put in the middle of the card. The crowd going to get up for them, so somebody's going to suffer. You know what I mean? It's not like the crowd's going to get up for the match. You're going to have a cool down match, and I can name a couple of these matches going to suffer on this card. This Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and a Naomi match. I think it'll be good. I think the crowd will be into it. But I think it was interesting the way they put Stephanie Vaquer because she's getting the winner. I think they're actually doing a good job building up that match while also showing that she's a viable contender to actually get whoever to win that title from whoever wins this match at the Australia show in Perth. So, Justin, what's your thoughts on this whole conglomerate and this match for SummerSlam?
I think, and I don't want it to be the case, but there's a lot of rumors saying that Naomi is willing to either retire or take a huge break to start a family, and that's the case. In all power to her. So I can see them giving her.
Right, what was the point?
I don't think so either. So maybe that was the original plan. Mm-hmm. Maybe that was the hey Jimmy, like yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. Hold on, you know, I ain't never been this hot, right? So we might need to postpone that 2 more years, right? So if that's the case and she's serious about that, if that's true, then I can see them giving her this great victory at SummerSlam over the other 2 premier workers, and then possibly drop it to Stephanie to then go start that. I can see that in that a little bit. So she had her crowning moment. She defended it, but then she lost it, you know, to Stephanie, which is the uppercomer. I can see that. I don't want it. I don't want it at all.
I think she wins that SummerSlam, but she'll drop it at the next show, like you say. I think you got to give her one title defense.
Does Rhea get pinned?
No, Io gets pinned. Come on.
Okay.
Come on. Yeah, it'd be
Rhea's eventually getting that belt, but I think they trying to delay because she's still over every time. You know what I mean?
So
I think Bianca coming back has eventually something to do with it. Everybody wants to see Rhea versus Bianca as the premier match, probably at a WrestleMania, right? That's going to be it. There's no need to rush Rhea getting the belt or whatever the case may be if Bianca's not ready, if she's not even healthy.
And is Bianca on SmackDown or Raw?
It's wherever she wants to be at.
Yeah, because it seems like they've been kind of loose with that, which I appreciate. I don't want the hard line.
Definitely been everywhere.
Yeah, people been everywhere. Yeah,
it's Julia.
Yeah, Julia Intercontinental Champion on SmackDown, right?
U.S. Champion.
U.S. One of them. Yeah.
Can't tell.
Anyway,
I didn't see it until she won.
So you got Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa at in a steel cage match at SummerSlam. These two have good chemistry. I like the storyline they did last week, even though it was a bit controversial with him trying to get framed for all that, whatever. But I like the cage match aspect. Try to keep out the bloodline. I think these two will have an interesting matchup. Calvin, your thoughts on this one?
I'm interested in that. I'm glad for the steel cage match storyline. to kind of hopefully bring a semi-conclusion to this feud. That's my hopes. But I think if it's a conclusion, then that means does that mean Fatu doesn't win and he's on the bigger and better things, slowly getting built up? Or do we continue this feud? That's kind of repetitive, in my opinion.
I think Jacob just gotta win. He gotta move on, man. It's getting long.
But him moving on just means him moving on, not garnering any steam. I mean, look, the heavyweight title picture on SmackDown and Raw is loaded with stars until Cena retires, until there's some conclusion with Rollins, whether or not that's Saturday or on next Saturday and Sunday or a month from now, whatever. But I just think that there's more for Fatu eventually, but when does that happen?
I think you got a stable of guys in that upper tier on SmackDown that he can feud with. That he'll be fine. Drew, you got Damian Priest. You got you can do a turn, get somebody, heat somebody up, bring somebody up from NXT. There's a lot of different things they can do. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, your thoughts on this one, Justin?
Well, I think that Solo wasn't the person that was driving the car. I think somebody else was. I think this is it's a whole nother layer that's about to be unveiled for this particular feud that's going on.
They try to pull the Rikishi storyline out again.
Please don't put. That's why I don't think I don't think it's somebody related to that family because of the original person that did it was Rikishi, and I did it for The Rock. I don't think it's anyone of them. We talked about this over with the family at We Talk Combats, and we talked about the fact that Ron Killings came out with a picture, man, and it had him, had the Street Profits, and it had Carmelo talking about I'm driving now.
Could have been Ron Killings.
He did have a history up until that point of just crashing shows and things like that. When this originally happened, who was in the background when it originally happened? Street Profits was around, right? And the next thing was Carmelo was in a mix between Damian and Aleister Black. So I think this whole thing is not over, and I don't think it's as simple as what it is. They never said Solo did it; they just arrested him. They never said he did it. So I think it's a little bit more to play here, and if it does play out that way, then I can't believe it. But shout out to Paul Levesque, and I didn't know he was capable of such detailed storylines. But then again, it's Paul. So
if they go with the race angle, that would be layered. If you do it right, I think it can be done. I could write the storyline out and make it pretty entertaining.
Most people can write better storylines than Paul Levesque.
Chill out. But let's quickly go through the rest of these matches really quick. You got the tag team match with Jelly Roll, Orton versus Drew and Logan Paul that was set up. They were on Jimmy Kimmel last week. Very interesting to some people, not me.
At the main event.
Yeah. You got Jade Cargill getting her title shot against Tiffany Stratton for that women's title. I expect the title change there. Finally official. Dom has to defend that Intercontinental title versus AJ Styles.
AJ and this whole bad thing and him doing the multiple characters.
Straight comedy.
I didn't know AJ they held it down. They weathered it for the last couple of weeks, and it was just enough, and it was damn near perfect. So shout out to AJ.
Yeah, and then you got Lyra getting her final title shot against Becky. If she doesn't win, she cannot challenge Becky again for this title. So I suspect she'll get that title here. So those are just some of the matches. This is not the entire card. But remember, there's 2 nights. They've been kind of announcing which night. We'll learn more on SmackDown this week because after that, only 2 shows left before SummerSlam next Saturday. So it's going to be an interesting SmackDown this week to see what other matches they come up with to try to round out this card. But overall, I can't be mad at what they've done so far with this SummerSlam. We've seen them load up, put out a lot of shows here recently and really oversaturate the market, in my opinion. But for them to put together a 2-night card and sell as many tickets, they've sold a lot of tickets to these shows because I even went online to purchase my tickets. Jeez, man, it was expensive as hell, but people buying them tickets because it wasn't a lot of the areas I wanted seats in, they were sold out already. So even if you selling them to the third party people, those were getting bought up. So WWE is still hot. People are still watching. People still going to the shows. And you in New York, biggest market. Should be an interesting one, and we'll continue to monitor. So next week we'll have that final card on the show, and we'll go over it in depth. Any final thoughts? We're gonna go over some MMA, some boxing, but the hour is getting late, and I don't want to overhold you, so we'll cover that next week. Calvin, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
If you're a former boxer and you try to come back at a couple of years, maybe you should stay retired. Everything for.
He actually won that fight, man. He won the fight. I give Pacquiao credit.
Won that fight.
I give him credit. That was not a draw.
And shout out to Shakur Stevenson. Put on a master class. Did not run, did not do the rope a dope as he normally does. He didn't. He stood down and he fought and he beat homeboy. So shout out to Shakur.
Shout out to Dustin Poirier. Hey, he went out on his shield. He didn't get knocked out. That UFC, probably one of the best shows of the year. If you didn't see it on Saturday night, Dustin Poirier went out to Max Holloway Saturday night. That was his final fight of his career for the BMF title. Hell of a fight. Yeah. Max Holloway is one of the best in the business for a reason. And again, UFC, they can be very frustrating at times, but it's still some very talented fighters in that company. I don't agree with the politics, and it turns me off a lot more. But they're more popular than ever because some people just don't care about that. But shout out to them. I ain't paying for them. I will pirate every event to the day. I ain't giving them. They never get another dollar from me. But I enjoy fights, so I watch it. But go ahead.
I was gonna say when Aspinall beats Gaethje, what's next?
I don't know if he's gonna beat him. Yo, Gaethje tough, man. He's tough.
That say a lot about Aspinall, in my opinion, if you don't beat him. But okay.
Yeah, but look, it's gonna be a dog fight. Gaethje gonna take some shots.
So that's in November, right?
Yeah, that's a money fight, man. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah. Is that the New York fight?
November typically is Madison Square Garden, so we'll see. Any final thoughts before we get out of here, gentlemen? We good?
Yep.
All right. Well, folks, we thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week, celebrating a birthday this weekend. So going to have a good time and enjoy some, relaxation, summertime. The Leo season, baby. We here. Calvin's the 25th. I'm the 26th. You know what I mean? This is what we do. You know what I mean? So we appreciate you tuning in tonight, and we'll be back next week for another edition. Get off the damn fence. I ain't old. Speak for yourself.
I'll do the Roman.